In response to a drone being shot down over the Moscow-occupied peninsula, Russia's FSB security force nabbed a guy who was allegedly planning a rail attack in Crimea. According to the FSB, the suspect, a Russian national in his mid-40s, had been collecting information on the deployment of Russian Defense Ministry facilities and units and was preparing an attack. The individual had been remanded in detention and was said to have been acting on instructions of Ukrainian military intelligence. The claims received no immediate response from Kiev. An unenviable fate awaited what Sergei Aksyonov, the Crimea's newly appointed Russian governor, referred to as Ukrainian agents operating in the region. Later, he reported that a Ukrainian drone had been shot down over the northern peninsula, but he gave no further information. Ukraine has frequently targeted Crimea with drone assaults and sabotage attacks as it attempts to recover the peninsula, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. Ukrainians ask for disclosure of politicians' holdings in a petition. President Volodymyr Zelensky has been urged to restore public access to officials' online declarations of assets by tens of thousands of Ukrainians who emphasize the need of transparency during times of war. The uproar follows a number of corruption scandals that resulted in the detention or dismissal of famous people. The petition on the website of the Ukrainian presidency claims that at this time, withholding government declarations from Ukrainians means covering up total corruption in the country. The petition was published on Wednesday and has already received more than 83,000 votes, above the 25,000 needed for the president to take it into consideration. The petition urges the president to oppose a proposed bill that would reinstate mandatory electronic asset declaration for officials, but keep them out of the public spotlight for another year. The draft law was approved by Parliament in a second reading this week. Elon Musk disputes turning off Starlink to stop a drone boat attack from Ukraine. Elon Musk has demanded an urgent ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine and denied turning off Starlink satellite internet. The 52-year-old tycoon, who was born in South Africa, was charged with secretly ordering his engineers to shut down the communications network amid a significant Ukrainian onslaught. They asserted that it was done as part of a strategy to stop the covert attack, and added that explosive-equipped Ukrainian undersea drones lost communication as they approached Russian vessels. On Thursday, Mr. Musk, however, refuted the allegations on Twitter. The aforementioned Starlink regions weren't turned on. Nothing was deactivated by SpaceX, he wrote. Both parties ought to accept a ceasefire. More Russian and Ukrainian teenagers die every day for marginal land gains or losses. While borders hardly shift, their lives are not worth it. For Ukrainian military communications, satellite terminals given by Elon Musk's SpaceX, the U.S. government, and private benefactors have become crucial. Watch, here's why Putin's Black Sea blockade is a hoax. On August 13, Russian forces boarded a merchant ship in the Black Sea after firing warning rounds in its direction. Ukraine urged the international community to respond, claiming it was a blatant breach of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Although it was a troubling incident, Kiev faced a much bigger issue because Russia had every right to respond in the manner it did. There is still more. After pulling out of the grain agreement, Russia is keen for the world to believe that they have blocked Ukrainian ports when in fact there is none. The associate editor of The Telegraph, Dominic Nichols, discusses Russia's efforts to establish a de facto naval blockade of Ukraine in this episode of Defense in Depth. He also explains why Vladimir Putin wouldn't want to upset his Chinese ally, even if Russia had the capability to hold a blockade.